The Nevada desert is a place of extremes. The sun beats down mercilessly during the day, turning the sand into a scorching sea of gold, while at night the temperature plummets, and the desert wind cuts sharply across the landscape. It's a place that demands respect, patience, and awareness, but for 8-year-old Eli, it was suddenly a place of fear. 3 days earlier, he had wandered too far from his family's ranch, chasing a small flock of sheep. One moment, he was laughing and running. The next, he was alone, dehydrated, and disoriented in an unforgiving wilderness. Beside him, a single source of comfort stood unwavering. Titan, a massive white Kuvasz, loyal, intelligent, and fierce. Titan's thick fur gleamed under the harsh sun, his dark eyes scanning constantly, ears twitching at every sound. The shift of wind over sand, the faint rustle of a desert rodent, the distant cry of a raptor overhead. This dog wasn't just a companion. He was Eli's protector, his guardian, his only shield against the desert and everything it harbored. From the start, the desert was merciless. The hot sand burned through Eli's worn boots, every step a struggle, while the heat stole his energy, sapped his willpower. He stumbled over rocks and thorny shrubs, occasionally collapsing to the ground, breathing heavily. Each time, Titan nudged him, pawed lightly at his shoulder, and placed his massive body between Eli and potential threats. The boy clung to him, half crawling, half walking, trusting instinctively in the dog that had never let him down. The first predator came from the shadows of a rocky ridge. A mountain lion, lithe and dangerous, slinked into view, eyes locked on the small, vulnerable boy. Titan froze for a moment, assessing the threat. Every muscle tensed, tail stiff, hackles raised. Then, with a low, guttural growl, he stepped forward, positioning himself between the predator and Eli. The mountain lion paused, sensing the dog's size and confidence. Titan barked sharply, a warning that echoed across the desert, vibrating off rock and sand. Eli's heart raced. "Titan, what is it?" he whispered, voice trembling. The dog responded not with words, but with action, a silent signal that danger was near. High above, another threat appeared. A shadow crossed the blazing sky, wings beating against the desert heat. A golden eagle, talons glinting, eyes fixed on the movement below, had noticed Eli. Titan spun, barking and leaping, putting his body between the boy and the bird. The eagle hesitated, swooping closer, talons extended, but Titan's presence was formidable enough to force it to retreat temporarily. The dog's instincts were flawless, a combination of training, intuition, and raw intelligence honed over years of protecting his charge. As the hours passed, the sun's heat intensified. Eli's lips were cracked, throat dry, skin burning, yet he relied completely on Titan. Every time he faltered, Titan nudged him, guided him towards scattered patches of shade, navigated thorny shrubs, and sniffed out safer paths through the rocky terrain. At every turn, he kept the boy between himself and any danger. The desert was alive with threats, sneaky predators, venomous snakes, and even the constant glare of the unforgiving sun, but Titan's vigilance never wavered. Night fell, bringing a cold unlike anything Eli had felt during the day. Temperatures dropped, sand became icy underfoot, and the desert's nocturnal predators emerged. Titan lay over Eli, a living shield, listening intently, nose twitching, ears perked, ready to spring at any sound. The faint rattling of a snake, the shuffle of a mountain lion across distant rocks, or the flapping wings of a circling owl. For hours, he rested lightly, never fully relaxing, constantly alert, allowing Eli to sleep only in short, shallow intervals. The bond between boy and dog was now absolute, forged in fear, survival, and instinct. When dawn broke on the second day, the heat returned, just as punishing as before. Eli's energy was nearly spent, every movement an ordeal, but Titan was unwavering. He nudged, guided, and sometimes literally pushed the boy forward, using his massive body to shield him from the sun's harsh glare and potential threats. He barked at a mountain lion that attempted to flank them, forcing it back. He growled at an eagle that circled too close, chasing it off with a display of sheer size and courage. The desert was hostile, but Titan was relentless, focused, and tireless. Eli whispered thanks repeatedly between coughs and stumbles. Titan, I don't know how to say thank you, he said, voice weak but sincere. Titan responded with a reassuring nuzzle, a gentle paw on his shoulder, never letting the boy out of his sight. Every step was guided, every danger anticipated. Hours blended into hours, sun scorching, desert threatening, but Titan's vigilance never wavered. By the evening of the second day, Eli was showing signs of extreme fatigue, sunburned, dehydrated, and weak, but alive, moving only because Titan refused to let him stop. The dog's actions had already saved his life countless times in the past 24 hours alone. Mountain lions deterred, eagles driven off, snakes avoided, dangerous terrain navigated. And as night fell again, Titan lay over the boy, providing warmth and safety, alert to every tiny sound of the desert night. The third day approached, and with it, new dangers. Eli's muscles ached, and his mind wavered between hope and despair. But Titan was tireless. Every paw step, every bark, every protective leap kept the boy alive. Shadows shifted, predators watched from afar, and the sun rose, painting the desert gold and white. But Titan remained steadfast. For Eli, he was more than a dog. He was a shield, a guardian, a living lifeline in the most unforgiving wilderness. By the early hours of the third day, Titan led Eli toward the first signs of human searchers, a faint trail of tire tracks, a distant fence, the glimmer of a water trough. Each step was a struggle for the boy, but Titan's guidance was precise, unwavering, and life-saving. The desert, once vast and terrifying, had been navigated successfully thanks to courage, instinct, and loyalty incarnate in the form of one massive white dog. The third day in the Nevada desert was relentless. The sun had climbed high, baking the sand into a shimmering expanse, and the wind whipped dust into Eli's eyes, making every step a trial. His small legs trembled, each movement an effort, his energy nearly gone. But Titan, the massive white Kuvasz, remained unwavering at his side. Muscles coiled and eyes sharp, Titan scanned the desert constantly, ears twitching at every distant sound. The scuffle of rocks, the whistle of wind, the faint stirrings of creatures that lurked in the harsh wilderness. Then the first predator revealed itself. A mountain lion, lithe and muscular, emerged from behind a cluster of desert boulders, eyes locked on the vulnerable boy. Titan froze, assessing, calculating, and in a heartbeat, he lunged forward, barking, a deep, resonant sound that shook the air. His stance was firm, massive paws planted on the sand, teeth bared, not to provoke, but to warn. The mountain lion hesitated, muscles tensing, considering its options. Titan's growl deepened, low and threatening, a living barricade between Eli and the predator. The mountain lion lunged. Titan met it with explosive energy, intercepting the predator with a combination of sheer size, speed, and strategy that seemed almost instinctual. He snapped near the lion's shoulder, enough to make it retreat slightly, but careful not to risk a lethal confrontation. The dog's goal was protection, not a fight to the death. Eli stumbled backward behind the dog, clutching Titan's thick fur as a shield, heart racing, unable to comprehend the precision and bravery of his companion. Above them, a shadow crossed the sky. An eagle, wings wide, talons glinting in the harsh sun, had noticed the movement below. Titan reacted instantly, barking and lunging to place himself between the bird and the boy. The eagle hesitated, circling, wings flapping, but Titan's massive presence and aggressive stance forced it to pull back temporarily. Every instinctive movement of the dog was precise, defensive, and protective, keeping Eli safe from threats from both above and below. Hours passed. Titan guided Eli across the desert with unwavering vigilance. He sniffed for signs of predators, scanned the horizon for danger, nudged the boy toward patches of shade, and ensured they avoided venomous snakes that slithered silently through the sand. The boy's energy waned, but Titan's actions kept him moving, alive, and protected. Each encounter with predators reinforced the dog's reputation for intelligence and courage. The Kuvasz read the landscape, calculated risk, and acted decisively at every step. The mountain lion tried to flank them again. It slinked along the ridgeline, muscles rippling, eyes trained on Eli. Titan anticipated the maneuver, pivoting with astonishing agility, intercepting the predator and forcing it back with calculated lunges and sharp, threatening barks. Eli clung to the dog's side, trembling, his trust absolute. He knew instinctively that without Titan, he would have been defenseless against the predators that could easily kill him. Meanwhile, the eagle returned, swooping lower this time, talons extended. Titan barked furiously, leaped atop a rocky rise to appear even larger, teeth flashing, hackles raised. The eagle hesitated, then veered off again, unwilling to risk confronting the massive, alert dog. Titan's awareness was uncanny. He managed to protect Eli from multiple threats simultaneously, using size, strength, intelligence, and instinct to create a defensive bubble around the boy. As the day wore on, the desert's challenges grew. Heat radiated from sand and rock, draining both boy and dog. Water was scarce. Eli's lips were cracked, throat parched, and muscles weak. But Titan refused to rest fully. He circled constantly, barked at distant movement, and nudged Eli forward when he faltered. His dedication never wavered, even as exhaustion set in. Each step was a calculated act of survival, every motion a protective maneuver honed by instinct and loyalty. At one point, Titan had to confront the mountain lion directly. The predator leapt from a rocky ledge, attempting to catch Eli off guard. Titan reacted instantaneously, intercepting the lion mid-leap with a coordinated shove of his massive body and a series of fierce barks. The mountain lion reeled back, reconsidering the risk, while Titan positioned himself between Eli and the threat. For a moment, the boy watched in awe as his companion fought with courage that seemed almost human, every movement precise, every decision life-saving. Night fell again, bringing cooler temperatures but new dangers. Eli shivered, weak from dehydration and fatigue, while Titan stayed close, body coiled protectively, ears flicking at every whisper of the desert night. Coyotes called from a distance, rattlesnakes shifted unseen, and owls circled overhead, all part of the wild rhythm of the desert. Titan's vigilance never faltered. The boy slept briefly, using the dog as a shield, and even in moments of rest, Titan's instincts remained alert, ever aware of the dangers surrounding them. The final hours of the third day were tense. The sun rose high, heat blazing again, but distant signs of human activity appeared on the horizon. The glint of a water trough, faint dust clouds from approaching searchers, a fence marking civilization. Titan guided Eli toward these signs with precision, careful to avoid dangerous terrain and keep the boy safe from predators. Every encounter, mountain lion, eagle, snakes, heat, exhaustion, had been navigated successfully because Titan had refused to leave his post, refused to let Eli fall behind or be harmed. When the search party finally reached them, the relief was overwhelming. Eli collapsed into their arms, exhausted, dehydrated, and barely able to stand. Titan, panting, covered in sand and dust, eyes bright and watchful, had ensured the boy's survival over 3 days of extreme conditions. The Kuvasz had confronted predators, navigated the desert terrain, protected the boy from environmental hazards, and remained tireless, embodying loyalty, intelligence, and courage. Eli hugged Titan, tears streaking his sunburned face. You saved me," he whispered. "I wouldn't be here without you." Titan leaned into the boy, tail flicking, alert but calm, silently acknowledging the gratitude without needing praise. His actions had been instinctual, loyal, and heroic. He had protected a life through sheer determination and bravery. The rescuers and Eli's family were in awe. "I've never seen anything like it," one said. 3 days, nonstop protection in one of the harshest deserts in America, fending off predators. That dog is incredible. Titan had become more than a companion. He was a hero, a living testament to the power of instinct, courage, and loyalty. By the time Eli was safely returned to the ranch, Titan remained vigilant, eyes scanning the horizon, ears twitching, ensuring no lingering threat remained. The boy was alive, safe, and forever indebted to his guardian. Titan had faced mountain lions, eagles, the desert heat, dehydration, and exhaustion, yet he had prevailed, embodying the very essence of heroism. By the time the search party reached the ridge, relief washed over everyone. Eli collapsed in exhaustion, sand sticking to his sunburned skin, lips cracked and parched, legs trembling. 3 days alone in the Nevada desert could have been fatal. Heat, thirst, predators, and sheer isolation had threatened every moment. Yet he was alive, and the reason was unmistakable. Titan, the massive white Kuvasz, had refused to let a single danger harm him. Titan, panting heavily, formatted with dust, eyes scanning constantly, remained at Eli's side. Even though the immediate danger had passed, the dog's vigilance never wavered. His muscles were tired, but his instincts were razor-sharp. Over the past 72 hours, he had protected the boy from mountain lions, deterred eagles, navigated treacherous terrain, and shielded him from heat, dehydration, and every environmental hazard the desert could throw at them. Titan had been a constant guardian, an unwavering presence, a living wall between Eli and peril. Eli wrapped his small arms around Titan's massive neck, tears streaming down his dirt-streaked cheeks. You saved me," he whispered repeatedly, voice cracking with exhaustion and relief. Titan leaned into the hug, tail flicking faintly, eyes softening, a quiet acknowledgement of the boy's words. He had done what he had to do, not for glory, not for attention, but because he was loyal, intelligent, and fearless. The rescuers approached cautiously, aware of the predator tracks still nearby. Mountain lion prints led across the dunes, and eagle feathers were scattered along the trail. They marveled at what they were witnessing. "I've never seen anything like this," one said softly. 3 days in one of the harshest deserts, nonstop protection from predators. This dog is extraordinary. Titan had not only ensured survival, he had actively defended a life under conditions few humans could endure, let alone a child. Eli's parents arrived moments later, horror etched across their faces, quickly giving way to tears of relief. They hugged their son tightly, then turned to Titan, stroking his thick white fur with gratitude and awe. "You saved our boy," his father whispered. "I don't know how we'll ever thank you." Titan simply flicked his tail, eyes alert, silently acknowledging the praise while remaining focused on his charge. Heroism, in his form, was quiet, unassuming, but absolute. Word of Titan's courage spread quickly through the community. Neighbors, ranchers, and online viewers were captivated by the story of a dog who had kept a child alive for 3 days in the desert, fighting off mountain lions and deterring eagles, navigating heat, thirst, and dangerous terrain. People shared photos and accounts, marveling not only at his bravery and size, but at his intelligence, loyalty, and strategic instincts. For Eli, the experience was life-changing. He had confronted fear, exhaustion, and the harshness of nature in its most extreme form. Yet, through it all, Titan had been his constant guardian, guide, and protector. "I don't know what I would have done without him," Eli said later, holding Titan close. "He never left me. He saved me every single day." The bond between them had deepened beyond words. Titan was not just a pet. He was a hero, a friend, and a living embodiment of loyalty and courage. After returning home, Titan received rest, care, and recognition. Vet checks confirmed he was healthy, though worn from the ordeal. His bravery and endurance were extraordinary, but the story emphasized the quiet heroism that animals can display. Intelligence, instinct, and loyalty can combine to achieve feats few humans could manage alone. The dog's actions had been instinctive, yes, but precise, calculated, and effective, a perfect combination of courage, training, and heart. The family reflected on the experience in awe and gratitude. Courage doesn't always come in uniforms or medals. Sometimes it comes with fur, eyes sharp, instincts honed, and an unwavering heart. Titan had saved a life in circumstances that seemed impossible. 3 days in the desert, predators circling, a child's survival hanging by a thread. That was heroism in its purest form. For viewers watching this story, there's a question to consider. What would you do if a loved one were in immediate danger, alone in the wilderness? Could you trust instinct, courage, and loyalty, the kind only a companion like Titan could provide? The story invites reflection on the extraordinary capabilities of animals and the depth of their protective instincts. As the sun set over the Nevada desert, casting long shadows across sand and rocks, Eli and Titan rested together. The boy's eyes were heavy with exhaustion, yet filled with gratitude. Titan lay close, body still tense in readiness, ears flicking at every sound, though the threat had passed. They had survived 3 days, faced predators, endured heat, thirst, and isolation, and emerged together. This story ends not with fear, but with admiration, reflection, and gratitude. Titan's courage and loyalty had not only saved a life, but had reminded everyone that heroism can appear in the most unexpected forms. A dog, a child, 3 days in the desert, and a life saved. That was all it took. Finally, the story leaves a challenge for the audience. How far would you go to protect someone you love? Could you rely on instinct and loyalty to survive extreme circumstances? Could a companion animal's courage make the difference between life and death? For viewers, Titan's actions serve as a reminder that sometimes the smallest, fur-covered heroes make the biggest impact.